It's Fragments, and Quint will tell you what happened last time. Go, Quint.
Last time on Fragments, the majority of the group awoke in a calm forest that smelled vaguely of strawberries. However, Hazim was missing. There was a small stream nearby us and a variety of animal paw prints, but Hazim was nowhere to be found, and the party ended up deciding to head upstream. Hazim, however, awoke alone in a pine forest. It is northeast of a settlement, and he recognized it as Lekar in Falkovnia. He ended up wangling his way in to speak to Drakov, and found out that 60 years had passed. Therefore, most Falkovnians that he would have known before are long dead. And then Hazim revealed that he had in fact kept an alien egg from the spaceship and used it as leverage with Drakov, describing it as better than the egg of a dragon. Meanwhile, Vanessa Whisper and Quint run into three satyrs, Frith, Burr, and Edgar, which had a cartoon-like appearance, very Roger Rabbit or Bedknobs and Broomstick style. Or even indeed, what was the one with the nanny who's a...
I went for Space Jam in my description.
Space Jam. So many options. They mentioned that there was a settlement by the name of Victal, I think, and they couldn't get there as they'd be eaten by a troll who was guarding a bridge. The satyrs say this place is called Tempest, I believe. And the group eventually decided to aid the satyrs with the troll, as they didn't know what else to do. They ended up bypassing the troll, and the satyrs disappeared beneath the bridge instead of just crossing it. Later on watch, Quint spotted a scary-looking bird that looked like it had a humanish face, and he reached out to it in his thoughts, and it said something about good news or interesting news, interesting night. After that, the party heard a scream from somewhere in the forest, and rushed to find out what it was. Eventually, in a small clearing, Quint has run ahead slightly and spotted a dead, stabbed body and a scary-looking fellow in this little copse, who said, "Smelt you coming a mile away."
Nailed it.
And I can only describe him as looking like Strahd if Strahd were a werewolf.
Shit.
Already gone.
They're on to us. Cool. Okay, yes, that figure looked like this. And with that, let's go to that moment. So you are stood in the dark, in this clearing, with this figure, stood there over a body.
What does he smell like, Jim?
What is what, sorry?
What does this figure smell like?
I thought you said, what do his feet smell like?
No, what does this figure smell like?
Tell me, figure.
Yeah, if we're just giving it, I would say that they smell. Currently, it is just the smell of blood that tinges the air, and I guess. Are you close enough to see me and everything now? You can smell me and see me.
Yeah, but also because of my wild hunt shifter background, I've got very good sense of smell. Almost animalistic, you could say.
Yeah, this person smells animalistic themselves. They smell like a predator.
Shit.
And for even the people that are seeing them, they just give off a vibe. I don't know what it is, but there is something that feels extremely wild and innately dangerous about this person.
Quint.
Cool.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just upon smelling any sort of predator vibe, I would shift. but I'm gonna look at the others, look like I'm gonna bolt and stay put.
So remind us what happens when Whisper shifts. What's the physical change in her?
So I assume a more bestial appearance. Like my claws grow a little bit longer, my teeth lengthen. I get a little bulkier, more muscular looking. It's like an itty bitty tiny Hulk mode.
Absolutely.
With a touch of bunny.
I maintain that it is Beware Rabbit.
As he was sprinting forward, Quint would have had one of his short swords out already, and he's just going to kind of stammer out, seeing the body on the floor. You killed him. I heard the scream.
And I'll look over to Quint, and with like the blood on the blade, I look at her. Well, yes, that is somewhat obvious. I can like put it into the crook of my and just wipe the blood off the blade. But do not stow it. If you have never killed a man or beast, then you should not be in these woods this evening.
And if we have?
Then I see what the issue is, that I have killed a man that you do not know. Unless you did, of course. In which case, perhaps this is a problem.
Why? Why would you kill someone?
There are many reasons to kill a man.
He was asking for your reasons, though.
My reasons are my own. I see little what it is of interest of strangers in the night. I have more questions for you, I imagine, than you do of me. But to put you at ease, he had it coming. And he has just got a permanent kind of like smile on his face, and he's like slow movement, just kind of like watching between the three of you.
I think Vanessa's sort of similarly sizing him up. They both probably have like a similar sort of look in their eyes to each other.
And to answer your question, I only had to kill anyone in self-defense.
Yeah. A good reason. Do you feel that you might have to kill somebody in self-defense this evening?
That depends on how someone is feeling and what they might be doing next.
It was not I that approached you, but you that approached I, was it not?
Thought someone needed help.
Ah, they did, but that moment has passed, I'm afraid. Well.
Who are you? What's your name?
And he kind of like narrows his eyes slightly, but the smile is still there. I am Gregory von Wolf. And you?
My name is Quintinius Belenix, but you can call me Quint.
And the rest of you, what are your names?
Vanessa.
He's gonna kind of like lower the blade slightly. I mean, and this blade is a huge, great sword. Do we have a picture of my blade, DM? I think it would be quite noticeable.
We do.
It is not the one.
In the portrait, or
it is not that one. That was the default. The one I have is considerably
Oh my god.
more
Good
sinister.
Lord. I'm not sure you can really call that a sword, can you?
Depends how you use it. And I kind of like lower it slightly, and Luke towards Quint. I kind of like keeping a distance, kind of like sizing him up, kind of like walking around. Luke's Vanessa up and down, and kind of like lingers on her for a little bit longer with a smile, and then at Whisper, and he kind of pauses like, now you are interesting. What are you?
I'm Whisper. And like, I just keep glancing at Quentin Vanessa, like looking ready to bolt.
Yeah.
But clearly staying put out of some sort of, I don't know, sense of belonging or pack, or I don't know.
I think Vanessa's kind of keeping herself in between the two of them, closer to Grigori than Whisper, in case she does need to bolt. But
he kind of like looks past Vanessa for a second at her and you have a smell to yourself. You smell like trapped prey. And kind of like while he's
Embleer.
Hmm?
Predator.
And as she says that, he kind of catches a look at Vanessa and like, as do you. Predator can spot predator. You I'm not so sure about. And they point over at Quint. You seem confident enough to confront someone in the wild, but for someone that does not seem to have such an inclination towards killing, possibly not the wisest. But still, we appear to find ourselves at some sort of impasse. Either we are to fight or to talk. I have a preference. Perhaps not the one that you might think, though.
Well, I have to say, we aren't from this place. Do you live here?
I do. I live wherever I please, typically.
have you always lived here?
I have. You have not. There are many people from where I am from, but you three stand out. I believe I would remember you. You came from the south.
In a manner of speaking, yes.
Question DM. Are there mists to where they've come from, or do they just kind of appear in... Okay. None come from the south. Not typically. So where do you hail from?
Vanessa looks to Quint first to see what he says.
We're complete strangers to this land. To be honest, we don't know how we ended up here.
That does happen from time to time. You would not be the first, nor I doubt the last, that has found themselves here.
Where are we?
In what manner of speaking do you mean? The woods that you find yourself in, or?
What is this realm?
This is Tempest, as... Yeah, your key typing is ridiculous, Harrison. This is Tempest. You are a little south of the town of Victal.
Well, good to know that the satyrs we met were honest about something.
Question, DM, and actually to Alex too, just because like the picture you showed us, it was semi-realistic, but also kind of stylized, and the satyrs were also very stylized.
This is a normal looking person. This is not a Roger Rabbit. This is not a Roger Rabbit person.
Okay, cool.
You have been among the Fae.
Well, only briefly. 3 satyrs, a troll. All sorts of unusual creatures in this land.
3 more all of a sudden. Well, it appears that we have decided to talk, and I will be the first to sheathe my blade on my back, and I just kind of like turn my back to the 3 of them, kind of like unthreatened, as I go over to the body and start rifling through its belongings.
Quinn probably had his short sword kind of limp at his side, and when he does that, he remembers that he's got it out and will also stow his. How do you say more? There's more bodies?
No, just the one.
Oh, okay.
What are you looking for?
And I kind of like half look over my shoulder. He's well dressed. He may have something of use on him. Is there anything on the body, DM?
Make an investigation check. Rifling through. It's apparent they're wearing quite fine, not nobility, but fine, good quality, all very fresh and new, well-maintained sort of hike and travel and gear, dressed in a bit like a typical ranger's garb. Cloth and leather sort of sashes and ties, no sort of visible metal on the ensemble. There is a velvet pouch in the pocket, a breast pocket, and inside there you just find a handful of plump berries.
Okay. I will kind of like roll them around in my hand. Have I seen anything like them before? Can I do a knowledge check? I
think you would.
Things like that.
I think you would recognise them as being good berries.
Okay. I will pocket the good berries.
Other than that, a very, very nice pair of boots. Just well crafted, sturdy. You would probably recognise the craftsmanship from an outfitters in town.
Okay. I will make a note of the boots, but yeah, I will leave them be. And how? So it's become evening now, yeah?
Yeah, it's nighttime now.
It's nighttime now.
This was like 2 watches in. We're sort of 1 a.m. here.
Oh right, yeah, of course it was. Sure. Okay. I will turn back to the group. It is still quite the journey to Victal. Probably a half-day's hike. And that's for those that know the way. Whilst normally I would not recommend that somebody stay in... And I just stop.
Everything okay? Weather front coming in.
No. A reminder that I have unfinished business.
Is it business worth sharing?
a battle with a king. One day. Anyway. Your camp. I would not normally recommend staying in these woods, but I would also recommend less that the likes of you, one that looks ready to run and one that isn't sure whether they want to fight, I would not recommend traveling this evening.
Is this place that dangerous?
It is, for a variety of different reasons. Mostly because I'm here.
Well, that was my question, really. Are there things here that scare even you?
No. I am probably the scariest thing in the woods.
How are you now?
So it is said. And not by me, but by others. And still, there are things to fear, things to watch your back over. Things that can trick you, turn you around. It is better to be cautious. Unless I am wrong. Unless you are more than capable of handling yourselves.
Perhaps at least more capable than we appear.
Well, if the scariest thing in the woods is at least friendly, perhaps we don't need to be scared for the rest of the evening.
Perhaps. Would you share a camp?
We also look to Whisper, see what her vibe is. If she's still like on her haunches and hackles up.
I mean, I'm super hackles up. I'm sticking close to you and like just looking to you. Like, if you're gonna stay, I'll stay with you. I'll do like a slight nod at you to indicate that.
Do you remember whose watch it was? Whose third watch?
You.
It was you, yeah.
You were to come because Quint or Whisper couldn't wake you because you were up a tree.
That's right, okay. Well, it is my watch after all. Whisper, Quint, what say you?
I really could do with getting some sleep.
And Whisper. And she'll turn and like very earnestly look to Whisper and say, if you're not comfortable, you don't have to.
Will you be okay with him?
It's my watch. I'll stay up and I'll manage. He looks entertaining if nothing else.
I'm gonna nod and step back, but I have no intention of sleeping.
Was this a campfire here, Diane? I can't remember. Was this a camp that they stumbled upon?
Just a camp for one.
Sure.
Well then, Mr. Von Wolf.
Wolf with a V.
Wolf, my apologies. Mr. Von Wolf, if you care to escort us back to our camp.
Very well. And now he will draw his blade out, but he's kind of like carries it idly, just kind of like held into the small of his elbow. How far did they travel to get to this camp?
They ran for about a minute.
Okay.
So, just a couple of minutes walk.
And as you kind of like approach where your camp was, there is a little bit of a perplexing moment from Grigori. It seems I was so preoccupied I didn't even notice how nearby you were. More fool I.
Yes, preoccupied with that fellow. What was his name?
We didn't talk about it. You seem extremely curious as to him, but the name he was going by was Elthos. Did you know him?
Not a name I've heard before, I'm afraid. Yes, I have been called curious before. Learned mind is an inquisitive one.
Truth be told, he was no man, he was Fey. He had taken on the appearance of somebody else from Victal. And they are not welcome in Victal.
They in general, or his kind?
The Fey, yes.
He certainly can be tricksy from what I've read.
That would be the least of it. Yes. What he had done with the body of the man he had taken over, I'm unsure of. But he had taken on his visage, but he had not covered his tracks well enough. And so I was able to track him out here. And now he is no more. So unless you are an ally of the Fae, then my killing him should be of little consequence.
So you're a hunter?
I would say that is an accurate assessment, yes.
Where are you, Mr. Von Wolf? When you appear somewhat human, but...
I do not understand the question. And please, Grigori.
Do you want to, Grigori, describe yourself a little more?
Sure.
There are some standout elements.
There are some standout elements. So he is, as you might have imagined, he is an imposing figure. He stands at around about 6'10". To put that into perspective, he's the same height as the Undertaker. He has clearly, from his picture, very sharp, pointed, natural teeth. His eyes do appear to be a very feral yellow color. But the most curious thing about him is he has these kind of like horns, these bone kind of like growths coming out, like a crown of them around the top of his head. He is clearly not a human as you might normally see. I'm sorry, I forget what your question was. Did you ask me what I am?
Yes.
That's what you had for breakfast.
I am not Fae. I am one of Mother's chosen.
Mother.
You are indeed from far away. Yes. Mother. Mother is the one who watches over us, grants us her gifts and her blessings. I am but one gift.
Who is this mother? Does she have a name beyond mother, beyond her title?
She is mother. No more, no less. She is all.
What a respectful son she has in you, then.
And the three of you, you look somewhat similar, but you look different. And I'm presuming by this stage, how long does Whisper's wild shape last?
Yeah, it would have settled. It would have settled by the time like we walked back to our camp.
Okay. You look considerably less fearsome. What are you?
As I said, my name is Whisper.
You are not Fae. This much I can tell, but the animal within you, it is different. I have not seen this before. This is the animal you choose. Very well.
I did not choose an animal.
It appears.
Did you choose your form?
I did not, but nor am I animal. You seem to make yourself change before. I presumed this was some ability that you had.
You are not animal. Looking at this very obvious wolf person.
Does an animal walk and talk where you're from?
Some do.
Immediately thinking of Hazim.
Yeah, right. I was like, we were actually
like,
with a chocolate
literally,
fox,
yes.
I'm just going down the canine genealogy. My next character's just a dog. If we're at the camp, I'll just take a seat back to a tree, sit on the floor while we're all kind of talking. Is the fire still burning? Was there a fire burning?
No one have mentioned making one.
Yeah, I don't think there was.
Okay.
We all have dark vision, so it was like.
Yeah.
I never make a fire.
There was a campfire where I was at, though, right? I think it was like, yeah. So I think it would probably be noticeable then, if there's no campfire here, that I clearly have no problem seeing you all in the dark. Shock horror 5e.
And with those glowing yellow eyes of yours.
Yeah.
Wow, what big eyes you have.
All the better to see you with, my dear.
I am uncomfortable with the sound that Jack just made.
You want to see the size of my hands, my dear?
So, this town, Victal, did you say that's where you're from or just nearby?
I grew up there. I spend time there from time to time, but I prefer to be out here.
Is it a large place? Village? City?
I'm not sure of these words. It is the settlement. It is Victal.
How many people live there?
I have never counted them, but thousands, dear?
Hundreds.
Hundreds? Hundreds.
I'm most curious to see it.
I'm sure the people there will be most curious to see you.
Would I not fit in?
Oh, I believe you would. You look much like many of the people there. But so did that man back there. He did not fit in. I would make greater efforts if I was the three of you.
What kind of precautions would you suggest we take to fit in?
Well, they are a soft people. They are prey. But they work together. They see that there is strength in their number, and so those that help are usually rewarded.
We can play nice when we need to.
Indeed. So, what are your intents when you head to Victal? You have come here for a reason, I presume.
You would presume wrong, in fact. I believe when we get to Victal, we are really just looking for answers. To a question, we're not entirely sure what, but hoping that we can find some sort of direction when we get there.
Well, we have some time before you travel. I can, of course, accompany you there if you need a guide. There are many questions I can answer between now and then. And I'm sure there are many that you can answer.
Quite an exchange, then. Meeting new companions and sharing stories. Do you often take such a relaxed approach when encountering strangers?
Not if I am concerned for my safety.
And you're not concerned for your safety with us?
I am not.
Vanessa just smiles at that.
There are 3 of you, and perhaps with 3 of you, if you are as seasoned as you may imply, then perhaps you would be able to best me. But I imagine not before I took at least one of you. And so I presume that trading my life would not be worth trading one of yours. The danger of when you travel in a number, you grow attached. Much easier to be a lone wanderer.
And have you always traveled alone?
For the most part. There are times that I will travel with folk for convenience if I stumble upon them. For those that have wandered too far or left the road.
And have your splits from them been amicable? Most of the time?
They are always temporary. It is more I'm prepared to help those if they need it. Those from Victal, of course.
Of course. No Fae.
No. No Fae.
What kind of Fae takes on the personage of another like that?
I do not necessarily know their names. They are called many things. Would I use the word that you said, DM? Doppelganger. No? I weren't sure whether it was more of a that's the kind of thing that they are as opposed to that is the official thing that they are. Okay. They are shifters.
When you say shifter, Vanessa actually looks back at to see what Whisper's doing.
Is that an official word that she would use to refer to
Yeah,
herself?
that. I mean, not for myself, but like mechanically, it's what I am.
I feel like in Favorite they would be known as shifters, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm back up against a tree, like kind of in the like the garland pose, like feet flat in a like deep crouch. Um, just kind of like elbows on knees, watching, looking ready like to bolt, fight, not sure what. But I don't respond to shifter.
Sorry, are you saying you're Slav squatting?
Yeah.
Are you on a concrete bollard?
Yeah. I don't know what a Slav squat is, but yeah.
You can Google that later. Grigori, there aren't quicklings in these parts, are there?
Are there, DM? Should I roll? There are.
Oh, by the gods. Nightmarish creatures. I hope we don't have the misfortune of coming across any.
Good eating on them, if you're quick enough to catch them.
If you are. Well, I should get some sleep. I've done my watch. Until morning, Mr. Grigori.
Sleep well, Quint.
And I'll just give a nod towards Vanessa before going back to my bedroll.
I'll look over at Whisper, who I'm presuming Luke's tired if she's not had a full rest. Or I'd say that she might also look like hyper, like.
Yeah, I look tired, stressed. I look a lot of things right now.
I believe it was your friend here's watch. You can sleep.
It's fine, Whisper. Take a rest.
Knew I should have taken the spell Tiny Hut.
I mean,
What?
technically I have Magic Circle now, but I can't use it until I rest.
Who keeps opening pictures of me? There's like 3 pictures of Grigori.
The DM.
Say again?
The DM's mouth is moving, but there's no words coming out.
Yeah, I opened it in case because does it close for you all after a few seconds?
No, I just keep it open.
Oh, okay. It always closes for me, so I presume that if I want to refresh, I'll pop it back up. But okay. So yeah, Whisper did get some sleep because I think she did the first watch. She'd have slept during Quint's.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, mechanically, I really want to sleep, but it's a little bit. I can't while enemies are nearby. Do you know what I mean?
It's Skyrim.
Yeah, like I do not see how Whisper, smelling a predator, could manage to fall asleep or even convince herself that that was a good idea.
And so it was. Quint will, as he's getting ready for bed, think, perhaps I should do something about this tense situation. And he will ritually cast alarm around the area that he and Whisper, an area that would surround him and Whisper, with the caveat that the designated creatures that don't trigger the alarm would be the party, not including Grigori.
Yeah, so as you're doing your thing with your silver thread, you guessing you're just sort of sat there watching this ritual take place, Grigori?
Yeah. Can I see if I recognize
I mean, I can't
what it is?
check. Yeah. Yeah, I think you'd recognise this as some sort of simple ward.
And I see that it's just basically being put around the two of them while they sleep. Okay. And I watch as he's doing it with just I'm smiling, like clearly I know what you're doing. And perhaps
I imagine Quint just occasionally is like nervously glancing over and then just pretending to have not seen you.
perhaps they are not quite so sure about your capabilities after all, Vanessa.
No harm in extra protection.
Hmm. I think the best protection would be not to fall asleep among strangers, but to each their own.
Should they fear you then?
Of course, they do not know who I am. They met me but moments ago and I had butchered somebody, so I don't imagine that you would be so quick to sleep.
It's my watch anyway.
And if it wasn't?
I have my ways of dealing.
Hopefully better than whatever it is that he was doing. But no, I have no intentions of butchering you in your sleep.
What is that? And she sort of nods over towards the sword. It's not like any blade I've ever seen before, and I've seen my share.
It is my soul. It has been pieced together over the years from various kills and creatures.
So then you made it yourself?
Not exactly. More adapted it. It started off much smaller. It has grown as I have grown. The more I've killed.
Would you mind if I took a look at it?
By take a look, you mean surrender my weapon to you?
Of course. I'm but one woman now.
Vanessa.
And yet, I am no fool to find myself in a camp, outnumbered and without a weapon. So no, I will not surrender my weapon. If you wish to look, feel free to come closer.
She'll actually stand up and she'll casually walk over and she'll crouch in front of you and say, well, you can hold the sword out if you like. I don't need to.
And then it fades to black.
I hold the sword.
Both hands?
So, yeah. So kind of gripped by the hilt, and I kind of like I'll support the weight of it under my other. Just kind of like looking up, watching with a curious smile.
And she smiles, but when she smiles, you see that her eyes flash and become totally black. And she's going to reach into her bag and pull out her magnifying glass and just look at it. And I'd like to see if there's any kind of like magical properties about it.
Oh, there most definitely is.
Ooh, okay.
So as soon as your eyes go black with the Eldritch Sight, you see a number of glows coming from Grigori. You would see the sword is most definitely magic, as is a
ring.
A ring on his finger, and also through his shirt you just get a spread of magic.
I'm gonna say, well, because they would, unless they can actually see it, I don't think it would actually glow. Even though sometimes you do say that, but I'm gonna say that there's like you can see that there's a tattoo that comes from my chest, but there's like 2 points of a tattoo that kind of like ride up my neck, and the tattoo appears to be magic.
Ooh. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to at least cast Identify on the sword itself to see if I can get any deeper information about it.
Does it take the full 10 minutes for you to do it through this? Is it only
No,
when
it's
it's a
just an
ritual?
action. It's an action.
Yeah. Okay, so you get a flash and receive information about this weapon, which I will screenshot and a DM to you rather than talk through it all. And it's the full regular identifier. You get
Yeah.
the full kit and caboodle.
Yeah, I'm essentially casting Identify through my magnifying glass.
Okay. While I'm doing this, Grigori, you see the eyes flash black.
So you've done your Eldritch Sight for all the magical stuff, and then you've used your Identify with your magnifying glass, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You're able to understand what my sword does.
In a manner of speaking. I'm an investigator of sorts.
I've seen only another with this ability. It's someone in Victal, Sevenimin. They run a magic shop there. Every so often, if I find a trinket or another, she is sometimes prepared to buy them from me. Or trade.
And what was her name again?
She.
Svenimin. So Sven, O-M-I-N.
Is his name.
Oh, is it he? Sorry. Svenimin.
Well, you'll have to introduce me when we get to town then, won't you?
Very well. He is at least one of the few that is often most content to see me. Usually I'm bringing something of interest, and I suppose this time would be no different. And what have you? And I kind of like weigh her up and then look over at the others. You have your own equipment. Ooh.
In a manner of speaking. Nothing quite as impressive as the sword.
Well, it is as impressive as its owner.
Is it now?
I suppose that would be up to you. We have but met. Only just after all.
I imagine it does take quite a man to wield such a large weapon. No.
He nods. What have you? Do you have your crossbow like on your back, or is it like stowed away in a bag or something?
I think it's just sort of like stowed out, like slung over her back or wherever, like a crossbow. Maybe like on her hip, actually.
Sure. You are much of a hunter yourself.
Yeah.
Kind of like gesture at the crossbow.
No, I know how to take care of myself when I need to, but as I said, I'm mostly an investigator. I prefer subtlety when the occasion calls for it.
What are you currently investigating, Vanessa?
Well, the top of the list is to figure out why I'm here, why we're here.
There will be many asking that question of you. You do not know how you got here.
We have an idea, but just when we think that we have an understanding of what's going on, someone or something changes the script.
Harrison is typing furiously. Tippy tippy tap taps. Tappy taps.
While he's tippity tapping, I will confirm with Quint what he has laid down. And I will attempt to dig out a small little hollow in the dirt. Just a little scratch within that area and kind of tuck in there.
Well, so that we're not necessarily taking up the entire session where it's just me and Vanessa talking, if there's anything specific she would like to ask Grigori, then I am happy to.
No, I mean, not to put all the pressure on you, but like she's just watching you right now.
Yeah.
She's not really looking for like a Q&A with you. She's just very, very nervous around you.
Is there anything pressing that Vanessa wishes to ask?
What about pressing? No. I don't think so. I mean, she's just sort of getting to know him and, having a conversation. I don't think there's anything directly right now that she wants to know other than the information she's already gotten.
Cool. I think seeing that Whisper, after a while, seeing that Whisper's like so unsettled and clearly someone that needs sleep but can't, Grigori stands up and kind of like stretches after this. I will leave you to your camp for the evening. I will come. And again, he just stops as that thunder rolls. I will come find you at the dawn. I'll make my way back here, and I will help guide you to Victal. You should sleep, little one. And
should we be expecting rain?
No. That is not the call of the storm. That is the call of the king! But he's some distance away.
Does it look like he has any kind of sort of like water skin or flask or rations on him?
He'd probably have a water skin on him.
Okay.
And yeah, kind of like blade already stowed on his back. Until the morning, Mother watch over you.
Good night.
And I will leave it at that, and I will kind of like wander off into the darkness.
As he's wandering off, Vanessa looks to Whisper and says, "Are you okay now?"
I'm fine. I just did not think I would be sleeping much with someone like that around.
Wow.
Well, he's gone for now. And if anything happens or tries to happen, I will be there.
I appreciate that.
Get some rest.
I will try. And for full disclosure, I rolled and I got a 20, so I was gonna go to sleep anyways. Since the dice was like, "Yep, you're fucking sleeping."
Yeah.
But this actually works out very well.
As soon as Whisper kind of rolls over and passes out, Vanessa's gonna scramble up the tree again to see if she can follow where Mr. Votiv is going.
You're doing what, sorry?
So Vanessa's trying to just kind of see if she can follow where you're going.
Are you attempting to follow along through the tree canopy, actually
No,
following
just
him,
sort of
or
looking,
just tracking?
just looking from the tree, just tracking, like seeing if she can see him in his path, but staying in the tree.
Yeah, with your vision, you'd see him until the edge of your vision, if he goes that far, even.
Yeah, I'm wandering. I'm going off.
Okay. Yeah, she'll lower herself a little bit, not all the way to the ground, but at least a couple, maybe like 10 feet up off the ground, and just sort of hang out and write in her journal. And
Dear diary, today I met a dreamboat.
It's like little hearts.
Gregor with a love heart across over the eye.
GVVXVL.
So, the night passes, and the morning comes.
Feeling super well rested?
Everyone feels super well rested.
Nice.
Music not quite so dangerous.
Yeah.
Morning has broken.
Winds up at first light, poring over a spellbook.
Oh shit, 2 of these pages were stuck together. I have learned loads of new spells. They're really cool spells, which explains why the pages were stuck together. And yeah, everyone is rested.
I will leave them to their chat until I reapproach.
Yeah, I'll crawl out of my little scratch that I dug and just find some amount of Jim, I've got the Outlander thing. Can I attempt to find some herbs and berries to snack on for breakfast?
Yes.
Berries?
Remember, is that a roll you need to do, or is it just a feature?
It just says I can always find food and water.
Yeah, do you know what? You might have found food and water.
Cool. I'll get a few extra if anyone wants some berries.
Are there any more like good berries around?
No, it's not those kind of berries.
No, just you find a nice copse with a heavily laden strawberry plant in.
Cool.
These are big strawberries.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's what I'll be snacking on in the morning. I'll offer one up to Vanessa and one to Quint.
Tess will smile and take it, but when Whisper's out of sight, she just tuck it into her bag.
Oh, fresh strawberries, delicious.
There are more if you would like.
So, did Grigori say he's going to come find us here? Shall we wait at the camp? I need to look over my spells and refresh my memory anyway.
Are we intending on traveling with him?
Well, he does seem to know the way to the only settlement we've heard of, which is something. And I feel that if he was planning to betray us in some way, that he would sooner have done it already than bother to take us to this settlement that we know is nearby.
Never underestimate the long game. We should still be on our guard.
Indeed.
For all we know, there could be people in Victar that, well, he wants to sell us to. So.
Well, we may not be 7 feet tall and intimidating, but we are a capable bunch. I'm sure we'll be fine.
Yes, we are, Jeremy.
Yes.
Well, then I will trust your decisions on this.
I do miss Hazim.
He'd have known what to do.
Or if he
would
didn't
have
know
told us what to do.
he would certainly have been confident in whatever he did say. Wasn't Hazim also 6'10"?
He was definitely a big boy.
How tall are Vanessa and Whisper?
8 foot and 9 foot, respectively.
I am
We're giants. We're half
not
giants.
that tall, if I remember. Why don't I have it written here? I've got it on a document somewhere, but not apparently in Foundry.
No, I think Vanessa's just like 5'7".
This guy towers over us all.
But you'd feel so safe in his arms, Vanessa. Or would you?
I mean, would he?
We wait for the return of Gregory von Wolf.
Sure. I will stroll in, and there seems to be a little bit of blood splash across the front of his arm. It looks like he's had a busy night.
Hello, Gregory. Get much sleep?
No. I make a point not to sleep too much during the night.
I see. Then, what do you spend your time doing? I like to read.
I just kind of like wipe the blood off my arm. Like, there's little else to do out here in the evening, but it calms the mind.
Calms the mind. Hunting?
Indeed.
You find anything good? Maybe find some a fresh meal?
Nothing that I brought with me, I'm afraid.
Very well. Well, we're about ready for off, I think.
Yes. Whisper, are you ready?
I am. And I will stand and tuck a few of the extra strawberries into my bag.
As Whisper's tucking away the strawberries, Vanessa will pull out the strawberry that she stored away, and she'll approach Gregory and say, "Would you like some breakfast?"
Oh, no, I have eaten. I just didn't bring any with me.
Suit yourself. And she'll just kind of go over and casually give it to Quint.
Oh, thank you. They're very sweet, you know. Delicious.
Very well. And I just kind of like turn and just start walking.
As you set off north, we will take a 10-minute break before picking back up. So we will see you in 10, 9,
Nexus.
8, 7. We are back. So, as everyone starts to filter out of camp, heading north with Gregory, what's Vanessa doing?
You know, she's really just vibing right now. She's having a moment. And she's living. No. Yeah, I think she's just sort of... she's gathered her wits about her. She's got her bag and shit. And I think she'd also be... Because we're like on the road now, right?
No. There is no road. You are just heading through forest. Looks untraveled. But you are following Gregory's lead in the direction that you saw a settlement. But yeah, if there is a road, you are yet to join onto it.
Yeah, she's just following behind them, keeping her eyes open.
I would presume, DM, that I seem fairly comfortable about where I'm heading when I'm in these here parts.
Yeah.
So, Grigori, you've mentioned this king a couple of times. Is this the king of Victal, or...?
There is no king but the king in the north.
That sounds so familiar.
Space Precinct.
Always.
How far
King.
north are we talking?
Not close enough that we will wander into him. He is some distance from Victal. He is in Tarin Court. He's King Arth. He is a formidable beast.
King Arth of Taring Court?
Tarin Court.
I
I
will
will-
type it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you're looking at it, you can type it.
Tarin Court.
Oh, it's Welsh.
Grigori spells it out for you.
Taring Court. King Arth. Is this someone that we do or don't want to meet?
You do not.
I don't.
I do.
You do?
Yes. I have sworn to kill.
Oh. I'm sensing a pattern here. You quite enjoy a battle, I suppose.
I do, yes. I have a penchant for violence, it has been said.
And I'm sure you're very skilled at it. This King Arthur, do you have quarrel with him, or?
And kind of ponders for a moment. And he starts rolling up his sleeve, and you can just see these massive claw lacerations across his arm. They're like kind of well healed over now. So it looks like it's from some time ago.
As I said, formidable creature, but he came off worse.
Quarrel indeed.
The thunder that you hear, that is King Arth, reminding everybody not to come near. There are few that will travel through his land, but I am not like everyone else.
Are there any other, well, aside from Fae, any other dangers we should be wary of traveling these parts?
Between here and Victal? None particularly. It is mostly Fae that inhabit the border areas. None travel beyond there. Here you might find wild boar.
Ooh,
Yeah.
delicious.
It was. And he kind of like points at the blood on his thingy.
But at night, the creatures are somewhat more dangerous in different ways. Things in the shadows. If you're frightened of that kind of thing.
And he looks over his shoulder at Whisper.
During the day, the forest is abundant with life and food, and the mother provides.
Praise be to the mother.
Indeed.
Who
North
is
of-
the earth god or whatever of Faerun? Who do people sort of worship there as sort of like
Oh, this
Sylvanus, I think.
Sylvanus?
Oh, you mean for the woods?
Well, just like for like earth agriculture, especially like
Really depends.
Chauntea.
Chauntea is
Yeah.
one. You've got
Tika
Mix of-
Fast Paws as well.
yeah, just there's no like
Mixomatosis.
There's no
What's
like
the name of the
matriarchal.
wild mother?
I think Sylvanas is the closest thing to
Well,
a.
she's an elven one, though, right?
Sylvanas is a he and forgotten.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Forgotten.
Yeah.
I think. But here's the whole
I
thing:
was
like
thinking Salute.
different
Sorry, Salute.
races have entire different pantheons. It's
Yeah.
so annoying.
I was just curious if there was like a matriarchal sort of Gaia sort of figure in Faerun, but it doesn't seem like there is.
I think the most powerful will probably be Mistra, because she like controls the weave.
Yeah. Yeah. She's like agriculture though, right? Like
Who, Mistra?
yeah.
No, she's magic, like pure
Oh,
magic.
she's magic. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm happy for us to go with Sylvanas and change it if need.
Okay.
If
Okay.
we find out it's inaccurate.
That's all. How long has his mother been a part of these lands? Has she just always been a constant, or?
Of course, she is the one that created these lands. And so, the sun that rises, the food that grows, the creatures that dwell within, they are all gifts of the mother.
You said you were touched by her, yes?
Indeed.
In what way did it transform you, or give you this imposing stature?
I dare say it did, but the gift was at my birth, and so I am who I am. I've always looked as I have looked and been how I have been. There are few children born in Victal, so each of us is a blessing from the mother. Some of us are given gifts. Others are not so fortunate. What of you? How did you come by your gifts?
Well, long hours of study, I suppose.
Indeed. It is something that can be learned where you're from.
Well, Quint is quite a student of it, in fact.
Indeed, I had a master who taught me all I know. It was a lifetime's dedicated study, though.
Interesting. Well, I'm sure there will be many questions in Victal for what you are capable of. Everybody is always looking for everybody to pitch in and pull their weight. There's been some time since we have had outsiders in the settlement. You will undoubtedly raise quite the stir.
Yes, we've been in a similar situation. Your settlement, it's not... How does it penalize those who don't pull their weight, so to speak?
It is, I suppose, giving and receiving. For those that are not willing to help, then they will simply not receive help from others.
So there's no formal ostracization, it's just a give and take relationship then.
They are community. It is Victal. Everybody works together to help however they can and use their gifts to do so.
Ness looks over at Whisper to see if like maybe she's like to get her reaction, see if she's like relieved hearing that, considering, you know, Fort Watton and all that.
I mean, I'm walking relatively calmly behind you guys, but I am just eyes drilling into this thing.
Thing, wow. Well, that's comforting to know. Our last settlement, the hospitality was, there were a lot of conditions on it.
I do not believe you will find that in Victal. If you are prepared to help those that need, then I think in turn they will help you. They will help you back. Yeah, it is. It is not really for me. I become quickly unsettled there.
Unsettled. It's quite a word for it.
I feel like I am caged when I am in there. I prefer to be out here in the wild. But for the likes of you, and particularly you, Quintinius, I think you will find it most agreeable.
Sounds most interesting.
What of your settlement, where you are from? What is it like?
Who, me?
Just to reassure Jack, I did a reload, because before you get to Victal, I forgot that I'd changed my default Foundry sounds to have all the Mjolnir doors. So you get to Victal and be like... Continue.
You are not from the same settlement?
We all come from a similar geographic area, but none of us are from the same settlement originally.
We have heard this before of other places, that you have more far-reaching region. There is only Victal here.
And the north?
Victal sits on the shores of Lake Kronov. To the north you have the Motherwood, the Goblinwood, what was once Bridge Darrow, way north, but none go there anymore.
And this king you speak of?
He rules over Tyranny Court. But that is but woodland.
She will just kind of quietly go back to her thoughts with that.
The people of Victal, they will work the lake and the woods, some of the mountain, but rarely will they delve too deep within it. But none travel further south. None bar me head to the Goblinwood.
Head to the what?
The Goblinwood.
Huh. It's been quite a while since I've seen one of those.
So you have Goblin. Interesting.
Yes, it's in fact, it's how we first met. Well, at least Whisper and I. Or at least part of how we met.
Fighting Goblin?
I thought that was a kobold.
What's it called? I thought it was a goblin.
Either way, I don't care. Yeah, I'll look up and nod at that.
I'm much like you, though. I find the need to travel takes me, and it's hard to settle down in one place. So much to see, experience.
I find the settlement stifling. The people there are good enough for the most part, but too many constraints. I prefer the woods at night, where I can fight. Is there supposed to be some music playing, dear? Because I have 0.
Yes. Do you all others have music?
Nope.
Allow me to stop it and restart it.
I won't allow it.
I have restarted it. I didn't need your consent at all, Quint. It played regardless.
As much as you are, I wonder if you are looking for somewhere to stay your time in Victal. Then there are few places that you could actually find a room, but the Mother's Welcome has rooms. It is a tavern run by Morgan and his daughter. I dare say that.
Do you think that in your company we will be in good standing then?
I'm not sure that good standing is quite how I would phrase it, but I think there would probably be few that would turn you away if I was with you.
It's good enough for me.
There are many that can help you. There are some that I am on good terms with, better than others. Some folk, they know better and keep away.
Yeah, and that's just sort of keep following along, keeping our eyes open. Is that very similar to the yesterday, where it was just sort of like almost cartoonishly bright and sunny?
Less and less so, although it is gradual.
Like,
do I notice that same thing, DM?
Okay, you'd be used to it.
Okay.
But yeah, it's still.
But I still know it.
beautiful
I notice it. It's not. It's just not. Or is it so? I'm so used to it that it's not noticeable anymore.
Yeah, I'd say you're fairly used to it.
Okay.
It's just the way the woods get the further south you go. Yeah, for you, Vanessa, it's still like a beautiful day. It's still peak forest. It just doesn't have that almost like oversaturation that it did yesterday.
Is it my eyes playing tricks on me, Grigori? So traveling, it's still beautiful, but it's not as, I guess, spectacular as when we first got here.
I think I know what you mean. You find it the further south you go. And we do not go further south than that. Even where I found you, or where you found me, that is about as far as most will go. Most non-Fae.
Further, even, I would say, Grigori.
Do you believe it's? Do you believe it's a side effect of the mother, or something to do with the Fae?
I do not believe there is one without the other. The mother allows what she allows. The Fae rarely bother us and rarely cross the borders into our lands. But Some will try. Me following our friend last night was the only reason that I was quite so far south. My business usually takes me to the north.
Well, it's beautiful nonetheless.
Not all that shines is gold in these places. Be careful.
The river begins to widen a little bit, and you know, Grigori, that you're all going to want to just wade over to the other side if you hope to get into Victal through a main entrance.
I wouldn't even think so. I just start
Yeah.
crossing.
Yeah.
Do Quint and Whisper go in?
How deep is the river?
Ankle at this point. But you can see it's widening and widening.
I'll
Is
watch
there no
Grigori
bridge?
for a moment.
Yeah, Grigori crosses to the other side and continues on the bank.
I'll follow him. He's
he
cross-running water,
swim
so
at
he's
any
not a
point?
vampire.
No, I said it's ankle deep. That'd
The
be quite
whole way,
funny.
though. Like,
Across, yeah,
Okay,
from one
okay.
bank to the other, yeah.
all right, I'll kind of do that cat thing when they get their foot wet, like putting my foot in there, and then I'll walk across, looking a little miserable.
Vanessa will be last, and she sort of, there's a bit of hesitance when she's looking down at the stream. But she'll watch Quint and Whisper go. And once they're across, she'll start to approach it.
You do not have rivers where you are from?
No, just not a big fan.
There are worse things in this place than rivers.
I'm sure.
Quintinius the Brave. And I kind of give him a bit of a on the back. My
Flying.
18 strength.
I try.
Vanessa, as you are wading across, you have the unpleasant sense that the water is unusually welling up around your ankles, and you feel unusually prone to slipping or stumbling. But as you sort of give that thought, you see a fair bit of the water just suddenly pushed away and welling away from around your feet. Only an inch or so. Almost like your boots are hydrophobic or something. Heavily hydrophobic. And you just feel a slight reassuring presence in you for a moment. Familiar one.
Thank you.
Don't worry. It's good to have you back.
What do you make of all this?
I'm not familiar with it, but you disappeared from my sight, and now you're back, feeling closer and stronger than ever.
Well,
You're more tangible to me than you were before. I feel better equipped to look after you.
where do you think that is?
I think wherever you are is a little closer to me.
And I'll note that she's sort of just basically stopped in the middle of the stream and is very, as subtle as she can, talking to herself as she's finishing the rest of the way.
If I'm not all the way across yet, I will full on stop, look back, start for a minute, and then like hurry across the water looking around for whatever danger she's stopped for.
Okay. And Vanessa? The nest of the others, I imagine, just looks like she's taking stock for a moment.
In the middle of the river.
Yeah, why not? Enjoying getting cool on their feet.
Yeah.
Go on, Vanessa.
Well, as much as I remiss to say it, I did feel strange not having you around.
Do not go far from me. Copyright.
We have a deal, and I will stick to it, so long as you keep your end of the bargain.
I will.
And with that, she'll very kind of quickly leap onto the bank of the other side and scurry up to catch up with the others.
And yeah, eventually following the bank, the forest comes behind you, and you would see a modest but rustic modest size but rustic settlement. For a very easy comparison for you all, we're talking sort of Valaki sized. You see farmland surrounding it, not quite as much of it as as the Tidelands, but clearly much more organized and actual farmers' fields. There is a large stone bridge heading over into the settlement, and you just see hustle and bustle of a fairly standard, busy farming community. Yeah. Victal lies before you, Grigori.
We're presumably... Are we on the... I'm just looking at the Victal map. Are we on the eastern bank? Like coming up from the south?
So you're just coming along from the road on the west.
The road on the west. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so not a stone bridge, a wooden bridge, sorry.
Just to make sure, we're not supposed to be seeing anything different.
Not yet.
In Foundry yet. Okay.
Not yet.
So we're passing through the outskirts of the village as we come to that bridge.
Yeah. In fact, I'll load it. Let's load
Makes
it.
it a bit easier. Instead of our secrets. The secret map.
Let me know when you're all on it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so coming up, you find yourselves coming in Hively direction.
Mm. Quite a sizable settlement.
Sorry, which direction are we coming up? Are we coming up from the south, or?
No.
You're coming from...
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that is technically the south road, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay.
I might just stick my own little compass roads on it at some point.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you're cartographers or anything like that.
One of us is.
Luca.
Yeah. Right. Just walking through. Eyes on people. I imagine this kind of community, even though it's early. I'll say that was half a day's walk from thingy, wasn't it? So are we like riding here afternoonish?
Yeah, just after lunch. And you would, to the three of you traveling with Grigori, you would notice that you are all getting interested looks. Eyebrows either go up or heavily furrow at the sight of Grigori. More than one person can be seen muttering. One or two people along the walk into town, you can see sort of to very quickly move elsewhere.
What is the kind of composition of the people that we're seeing? Are they all humanoid, or are they some of them like orcish, some of them goblins?
They are almost all human. You see some people who look entirely human, but have the features similar to Grigori, not in terms of his sort of sharp features, but those protrusions from his head. You find a fair few people, mainly younger, but some exceptions, who look to have tiefling elements to them.
Look like, but they aren't tieflings, or are they?
They have look like they have partial tiefling ancestry. Okay. Some sort of tiefling. You don't have any of the full I am red with a spiked tail and illustrious ram's horns, but you have sort of slight influences. Nothing visible in terms of orc, menagerie races, elves, dwarves.
Goliaths.
Seems to be humans and mild tieflings.
Modrons.
Talls everywhere, talls.
Yeah. Slimoids, what are those, plasmoids? When we're walking, Vanessa will actually sort of catch up with pace with Grigori and ask, have you ever heard of tieflings before?
Nothing from ever?
No.
Okay.
I cannot say I have. What are they?
Their lineage is it's devilish in nature, touched by beings from the Nine Hells. Are you familiar with the Nine Hells here?
You are saying many things that I do not know what you mean.
Well, where we come from, there are realms that are full of creatures who essentially wish to do harm to those of us who live on what we call the material plane. Whether it's spiritual harm or physical or mental, it's what they thrive on, and they will sometimes infect or procreate with those who live on the material plane and create offspring called tieflings.
I'm not so sure about offspring, but those that will try to infest, they sound very much like Fae.
They come from a different realm, but their motives are sometimes similar, and not all who come from those hells are as terrible as the people who run it, but it is very much a place based in a system of evil.
Okay.
He's just kind of like, sure.
Are there any particular places or landmarks in this place that we should know about or that we should visit?
Oh, so many.
The inn.
It depends what you are looking for. I imagine it is a firmly established settlement. There are people that craft a variety of supplies.
Supplies are always good. I just spotted in the distance across the bridge there are some very impressive looking buildings.
DM, what types of points of interest do you think I would reel off?
I feel like he's been here long enough that he'd know most of it, but to avoid just having some absolute essay, there would be all your typical small town vendors. There would be vendors dedicated to magic. I feel like people here would be familiar and comfortable with magic, even if not everybody has access to it. A huge amount in the way of like fresh produce and wares. Not a huge amount in the way of like outright adventuring gear, because people don't do a huge amount of adventuring. But short of things like artificing, I'd say most stuff would be commonplace.
What is the district? The enclosed districts beyond the wall, with that big gardeny area.
That is a very, very flimsy sort of wooden wall that's more decorative than anything. That's just another quarter of living area. It's not locked off. That what looks like a gatehouse at the entrance of it is more just like a big decorative gazebo. It can be walked through anytime.
Churches, universities, town halls?
No universities, no churches.
Okay.
There's a large central grassy plateau on a rise in the centre of the town. That looks like it's where, celebrations and gatherings. It's like a very, very wild, like a wild grass sort of park. But yeah, everything else otherwise is lots of market stall buildings, large communal, like all the houses are very, very close. There doesn't seem to be anything in terms of like, oh, that's the noble. Those are the bigger noble houses. But map is a slight case of best fit. But in terms of residential houses, they all look to be large but fairly humble.
Very well. My friends, where do you think we should go first? Or Grigori, do you have a business to take care of, or a destination in mind?
And you're all getting, by this point, more than one or two friendly waves and afternoon as people are passing by. People are definitely noticing that you're new here, but all seem to be friendly and jovial about it.
Except when they see Grigori.
Yes.
Do they seem genuine?
Yeah, they're northern.
Make an insight check.
All right.
Hello. Yes, good morning. Hello.
I was trying to get the steam train, and this filthy man from up north looked at me and said hello. He made eye contact. Yeah, everyone seems to be earnest and welcoming. Even if they're a bit busy, they'll sort of pull themselves away from a task for a minute to give us, a nod and a smile, as they say, faltering a bit at Grigori in a lot of the cases.
Okay. I will be jumpy a little bit at the first entering the town with all the sudden noises of civilization. But we'll, from that point on, with a few intense stares, I'll begin to visibly relax. How tall? So, would I be able to see this hill way down here?
Yep. As you're heading over the bridge, you'd see it sort of rising up a little bit in the distance.
I feel like without really deciding it, that's kind of just my destination, short of anyone steering me somewhere else.
Is
Okay.
Grigori noticeably much taller than the other residents? Are there other residents of a similar stature or close?
Occasionally, yeah. I mean, they're not like it's not a town of giant people. There are people you see a couple of people who are in the the 6.5 plus club.
Fair enough.
Without standing them shoulder to shoulder against anybody, he's probably the biggest person you've seen, man. As you are walking past a couple of stalls on the bridge, you see a woman with a bit of a fish stall going, and you can see nets and a bit of a platform behind her. Someone else seems to be taking produce directly from the river and serving it onto a stall front, and she's like, good afternoon, good afternoon, Grigori. Some trout for you, yes?
And I walk over and...
Thank you, but I've already eaten.
And she looks a bit crestfallen. She's like, it was a prize catch. My husband said to keep it aside for you, and hoped that he felt bad for the coin he won the other week, and insisted we give this to you. But if you've eaten, then very well, very well. I'll let him know.
Perhaps you would cook it up for me, and I will come and pick it up later.
Yes, very well. Of course. And she'll just nods a couple of times and gets back into her stall.
As she starts going away to her stall, and I say, and tell your husband I will see him again soon about that coin.
Yes.
Mother watch over you.
And you.
Shaking people down, then, are we?
In what way?
Yeah, we're clearly not excited to see you. Actually, seem to be quite frightened of you.
I am quite a frightening person, so they are wise to be. But I did not ask for the gifts that they offered. People have a tendency to give me things and want to keep me happy.
What happens when you're not happy?
Depends who it was that made me unhappy, I imagine.
And how quick are you to temper? How easy are you to temper?
I will rarely fight because I am angry. But that is not the same as rarely fighting.
You would know as you're walking across this bridge, Grigori, that the mother's welcome is here where I'm pinging.
Cool. As we kind of like get over the bridge, I'll climb down the road to the building.
That's where I believe you will
Could you
find
ping
room.
that again? Cool, thank you.
That is where I'm sure you'll find some room on board. If there's any problems, I'm sure mentioning that you are traveling companions with me will quickly find a spare bed. I have some business I wish to take care of, but if you do find yourselves there, then perhaps we will bump into each other again later.
It's not a big settlement, I'm sure we will. And, well, it's hard to miss you.
And you. Enjoy your day.
And I will turn and walk in the direction, GM, of where our Fey fellow purchased his boots.
Ah, yes, the boot merchant.
Okay. Everybody else, are you heading on in to the Mother's Welcome, or are you heading away from it, Whisper.
We're all going invisible and then following Grigori.
I mean, I'm also okay with that plan.
Yeah, I'm into it.
I would look at the both of you and just say, I think I would like to get a better view of the city. I was thinking of going up on that hill.
Seems like a good place to start as any.
Okay.
Yeah, Vanessa will follow.
I will turn and do so. I'll head that way.
So this gatehouse looking thing, as I mentioned, is almost like a large gazebo that has a clear sort of thoroughfare, a clear pathway through it. There are a lot of somewhere between wind chimes and fetishes. They don't have the horrifying stitched together from human hair thing that fetishes do, but they're clearly deliberately woven from, in a very rustic manner. Passing through, the path continues to gradually rise up onto this grassy plateau. You can see, even before you start ascending the steps up to it, that there are children running and playing around it. More than one family sat out in what looks to be, a bit of a traditional picnic style, so some separate groups. You even see someone throwing a stick for a dog, and it rises up before it levels off slightly, and you can see, as you walk up, there's quite a few looks. Now that you're not with Grigori, the people are almost outright Truman Show, waving and smiling at you as you go. You get a better view around the town.
Tell me, you two, do you find that Grigori's company is going to be a liability here or a boon?
Well, let's see how they react at the inn to knowing that we were traveling with him, like you said.
Perhaps you don't lead with that.
Mm.
Look at them. And she'll sort of gesture over to some of the friendlier people who are waving and kind of looking at us, not with fear in their eyes.
Well, that's true, but we should also mention looks can be deceiving. Don't take them at face value. They may appear friendly, but these people are just as strange to us as any.
This is a good point. You can catch more flies with honey and vinegar.
I believe actually technically that's
him.
not true, but still.
Well, I think if you actually use honey as sort of a sticky substance, it is quite true.
Smear it on dog shit.
So, is there anywhere you'd like to visit first, or do you think we should head to the inn? I'd love to visit some shops, but I'm awfully light on cash. I also don't know if they'll accept my currency.
Sure, there's a currency exchange somewhere.
To exchange between this town and this town.
I also have no means with which to purchase anything, but I will come along wherever you want to go.
Fools, we trade in blood here.
Yeah, well, got some sticky fingers.
Vanessa's been embezzling.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Let's perhaps start with the inn, and like any good tourism site, perhaps they'll have suggestions of things to visit, people to see, shops to procure things, and we just go from there. And if we need to, we'll bring up Grigori's name.
Sounds good to me. I like that they have, a natural space at the heart of the town.
What do you make of these people, though? The ones with the horns, the crowns.
It felt a bit too personal to ask Grigori directly, didn't it? But it's certainly an unusual trait. Nothing like I've ever seen before, I don't think.
I've seen tieflings before, but these aren't tieflings. I mean, I've seen quite a wide variety of them, and none of them quite resemble the qualities these creatures have with these crowns of theirs.
Perhaps it is similar in that they have interbred with the Fae.
Perhaps this is some sort of Fae tiefling variant.
That'd be certainly interesting, given how much Grigori seems to be anti-Fae.
Yes. Well, perhaps this innkeeper might have some answers, or at least know someone who does. And yeah, we'll head over to the inn.
Excellent. We will head over there. You find a fairly large tavern building, thatched roof, 2-story. And as you go in, you hear that there is music playing inside.
Is it like uplifting music, or is it like a funeral dirge? Like, what's the vibe?
It should be playing.
Yeah.
They're not coming through yet for
That's
you yet.
very nice.
It's
It is not coming through for me at all.
I'll stop it and restart it for you.
I feel like I'm in Evermore.
Ah, okay. It's very jaunty. Yeah.
Sure is.
Yeah, you enter a tavern. There are a
May
few
I-
people sat around in there. Is that working for you, Grigori?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Oh,
Is
Quinn.
Grigori here with us now?
Ooh.
Are you here with us, Grigori?
I just this like 7-foot-tall person hiding behind a table.
With a 6'10" lamp in the corner. But yeah, you see a few people sort of, well, yeah, everyone in eyesight sort of turns and looks over towards you when you come in. Go and whisper.
I was just gonna ask if I could just try and take in as much detail as I possibly can. Looking around here.
She opens your eyes really wide.
Yeah. What do you mean by that? Yeah, you look around and
I would
you
like
see.
to perceive extra hard.
Okay, go on. Roll me a perceiving check. Is there anything in particular you're looking to perceive?
I'm trying to get information on the people, smells of the place, everything like that.
It smells like a tavern. You don't smell like pipe smoke and things like that. It is airy and fresh. There is definitely the smell of beer and mead and a bit of sweat. Not the sweat of this is some dirty slum pub, but the sweat of hard work and manual labourers clearly come here to drink. There are frequent bundles of lavender and fresh smelling herbs hanging from the ceiling and from, racks, but mostly masket. But clearly this is a manual workers tavern.
Okay.
But for a farming community, that probably wouldn't be very surprising. Imagine most everybody is a manual worker in some way.
Okay. I will step forward then.
You see a bar over here with an older man behind it, and everyone's just outright looking at you. You see there is a couple of patrons in here at the moment. There's the old man behind the bar. There is a another older, quite heavily tattooed man sat over here. A young couple sat over near the wall. And then just to your left where you came in, there was probably the largest man you've seen other than Grigori so far, maybe in his early 50s, with a woman looking to be in her 70s sat opposite. And yeah, everyone's sort of looking at you. Man behind the bar sees you come and says, "Goodness! Hello."
Good day.
Welcome. You're newcomers.
We are.
You are. Have you come far?
Yes. Very.
I would imagine. You must all have a first.
Actually, we are looking for lodging and perhaps sites worthy of visit.
Lodging we can provide. Sites worthy of visit. By which do you mean?
The lay of the land, shops, points of interest. Anything that those of us out of town you think would be interested in seeing.
We have many shops.
I'm gonna lean over to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
All that you could want is here. The harvest is bountiful. Everyone is well kept here. You should be no different.
I'm gonna lean over to Quint and just whisper as quietly as I can. Perhaps we will need to find some sort of work. Given our conversation earlier about not having currency.
Well, I have a little gold, but if that happens to be universal, but it certainly wouldn't do us any harm to curry some favor.
I'm sorry, sir. What was your name again? She'll address the man behind the bar.
Forgive me, Morgan. Morgan Ravenberry. This is my establishment.
Oh, Mr. Ravenbelly, this is quite a fine establishment. What do you trade in here in Tempest?
Most often work or favor. There is coin if someone does not wish to or cannot lift and lay a hand, but you are guests. You are new arrivals. I will not have it.
We appreciate the hospitality, and Vanessa looks at the others to confirm that we actually do appreciate it.
Yep.
Have you fed? Will you take food with your drink?
Yes.
And he just leans back and bangs a couple of times on the wood paneling of the wall. And he bangs 3 times. Food will be out very shortly. Please, gestures to the seats in front of him, the stools at the bar. Will honey wine suffice?
Would you happen to have any tea?
Indeed. What sort of tea would you care for? We have mint and juniper berry and several fruits and herbs.
Juniper berry would be delightful.
Juniper berry. I can certainly accommodate to that. And sort of busies himself in a drawer and brings out a small kettle.
As he's doing that, I'm going to flash my eyes and just sort of scope out the room. See if I ping anything.
Yeah. So everyone's outright looking at you. I would give to you that this gentleman has a sense of magic about him, as does the lady in the corner.
And do I get a hint of schools, or is it just sort of...
Just a general vague sense, like items being worn, not they are magic.
Okay.
You would also have, a sense from the small tin box that is sat on the bar here that is clearly, as you stand around, the source of the music you're hearing.
Oh, cute. Got it.
I hadn't even registered that there wasn't a band.
So, tea for you, and will honey wine suffice for your companions, or would you care for something else?
I would love a honey wine. That sounds delightful, please.
Yes, that would be fine.
Fresh from the bosom.
Of what?
Truly you are on your arrivals, but the bosom is farmland.
Ah, the mother provides.
The mother provides for greater good.
Quint nods knowingly.
Yeah, he serves up a steaming pewter cup of juniper tea and 2 glasses of honey wine.
If one were to be looking for work, for example, in this place, would there be a good place to start, or as you say, should we just be exchanging favors for anything we might need with whoever we might meet?
There is always the need for work and strong arms and sharp minds. There are harvests to be brought in, buildings to help be constructed. All manner of...
I certainly have a sharp mind.
And a sharp blade by the looks of it.
That too.
A few minutes later, a woman emerges carrying 2 wide wooden platters filled with oh, you've moved to here. Yeah, with like breads and cheese. It's quite a nice, it's a good, like a ploughman's near enough, with like a ham hock. It's a good spread, and it's all laid down, put down in front of you with a smile and a nod. And she gives Morgan a nod and a smile as she carries her tray back, and you say, "Thank you, Marina." And she carries on.
Marina or Irina?
Marina.
Marina. And she had red hair.
Yes, I saw.
Yeah.
When
Keeping an eye out for floods.
Yeah, exactly. When I am given the flagon of honey wine, I'll just sort of raise a toast towards the man who's seated across from us, who is pinging with magical energy. See if he responds.
He lifts his an empty glass to you all in sort of toast, and then sort of just regards his glass for a moment, looks over at Morgan, and just does something in his glass. His glass fills, and he just gives you a slight nod. This.
Vanessa will look over to Whisper and Quint and say, "Well, at least we won't be oddities here. It's magic."
True.
Yes, with magic.
Well, at least you don't have to keep your true nature concealed.
Yes.
No, of course not. Good morning to you, sir. Very impressive. Vanessa's talking to the guy who filled his glass up.
Yeah, he just sort of ponders for a moment, taking a sip. I suppose you refer to my arts and not to my fine self.
To both. You are... well, your art is an extension of you, is it not?
So I have often said. You are all newly arrived, are you not?
Yes.
We are.
Very freshly so, I believe.
I hope we don't smell.
No, I merely have a sense of things. A byproduct of my trade.
Well, what is your trade, if you don't mind me inquiring?
I dabble and involve myself in curios.
You mean objects?
Objects, those who wield them, those who seek to make use of the gifts of the world. And there are some like playing cards on the table, loosely scattered, not mid-game, but he just sort of flips his hand and they very neatly over onto your table with clear magic, but you'd see Vanessa. A bit of a prestidigitation going on.
That is quite impressive. Do you have a shop or a study?
It is a minor thing. You lend yourself to flattery often.
Do I?
My name is Sveneman. I do indeed have a shop here.
Ah, it's Venemin. An acquaintance we met mentioned your name. Said that it might be worth visiting.
And what reference might that be?
A Mr. Grigory von Wolf?
Yes, yes. An excellent customer.
How does he
If
react
not-
to that?
It was a clear... Don't say it too loud.
Hmm.
And his choice of words seemed to fall on an excellent customer.
Yeah. What does he procure from you?
He will normally sell to me, or barter things he has found on his travels, and I will share that with the wider settlement.
Certainly seems like something that we could go in for at some point.
You are about the business of procuring curios and scouring woodland yourselves, then?
Well, I think that we're the outgoing type, so we'll probably be here, there, and everywhere, I imagine, seeking our fortune as it may be.
Or at least securing our position here in your fine village. Obviously, we don't want to freeload or leech.
Indeed, if going out into the woods to return with things is a good profession, then perhaps that's something we could turn our hands to.
Not many stray. There's not a great deal, many places to stray. Even our acquaintance, our mutual acquaintance, already strays too far afield.
Too far.
Risks the wrath of the woods. No, there is nothing good to be had to the south. Only Fae and their ill ways.
Those damn Fae.
You've encountered them.
A handful. Some yesterday, and when I was much younger, I had a terrible run-in with some particularly devious Fae creatures. Can't say that I'm a fan.
What did you encounter? You have many Fae in... What land do you...
We come from Faerun, but the creatures
This
you
means
encountered-
nothing to me.
Oh, it's neither here nor there, but the creatures we refer to
Truly.
as quicklings. They're
I have
small
heard.
sprites of great speed, blue of
Yes.
color usually.
Yes, breathe great storms of fire.
A look of
I
surprise.
jest, for your face is the greatest reward.
That was a good one.
He sort of swills his cup, his glass a little bit. It was a good day today.
Was it?
I think I shall retire for the night.
For the night.
What time is it?
Yes, it is shortly after lunch. And he puts his empty glass on the table. Say, "You must, of course, visit my shop tomorrow. I will show you what I have in stock, and we can come to arrangements." What did Vanessa attempt to do? Say before you roll.
Oh, I was actually going to try and just switch drinks with Quint. Not in a dangerous way, like.
But yeah. to try and Quint, who has been drinking, you're trying to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Quint sees you mistakenly reach for his glass, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, it was a natural one, so I'll say that
Yeah.
she accidentally knocks over his glass. Oh. Oh, dear me. Here, take this, Quint.
Would it be obvious enough that I could detect ill motive?
I think it was a natural one. Do you know what?
Yeah.
You roll a perception check or an insight check, Quint, if it's more than a natural one.
There's no ill intent, though.
Yeah, well, if it's more than a
Being
3.
It wasn't an accidental knockover.
You would see that. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'm not thinking for a second that he sees Vanessa be like,
Yeah.
but it was a deliberate grab as opposed to clumsiness. So yeah, make a roll, Quint. And you just got a beat of 3. Watch him get like a 2 now. Yeah,
Azim was
yeah.
right. She has her secrets.
And as this happens, Sveneman drifts out of.
Does he
Jumps over the wall.
take his cards with him, or does he leave them?
What cards, Quint?
Harrison
I feel like
drops
I feel like I got
a
mind
table
freaked.
asset on top of it. They're all gone.
Maybe I should have learned prestidigitation after all.
So yeah,
Very well. It
your
looks
drink,
like we've
your
got,
drink is spilled.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, Vanessa, are you quite all right?
Yes. Apologies. I'm sorry. Here, have mine.
Oh, very well. By the sound of it, the drinks are on the house, so I wouldn't worry too much. It sounds like we've got somewhere to visit tomorrow. However, turning in at this time, certainly unusual. Perhaps he intends to be awake in the night, which I feel like it's worth noting Grigori described as a dangerous time, out of the city at least. Although who knows, maybe the city is also potentially dangerous.
Quint just so naive, or Alex never grew up around a pisshead. He must be a night shift worker.
Maybe he's going out at night on the hunt. I don't know. Other than getting rooms and some food, do you think we should visit anywhere?
That was what I was trying to get at with the host here, Mr. Ravenbelly. He didn't seem to be not necessarily forthcoming, but necessarily understanding. I don't take it they get many visitors here.
Yes, we're certainly likely to be attracting plenty of attention.
As a matter of fact, Mr. Ravenbelly.
Oh, yes.
When was the last time you had visitors from beyond?
I think it must be about 5 year ago now.
Do you remember anything about them?
Yes, he was Dornish.
Dornish.
Very short. Shortest man I ever saw, but thick like an oak tree. Great beard. Fantastic at holding his libation.
You mean dwarvish?
I do, dwarvish. Forgive me, dwarvish was the word, yes.
Interesting. Do you remember his name?
I'm gonna roll an intelligence check to stall for time while I think of the name.
Oh, I mean, if it's not like a...
Balson, his name was Balson.
Wood.
Balson your chin.
Yeah.
Balson Yurchin was his name.
I'm not
He
familiar.
had a
with
wife, you know.
it. Happy to be a visitor here then. Are there any other... Did he inquire about any locations, or were there any locations or sites that you recommended to him while he was in town?
He worked here for about a year. Worked the fields. Worked the mine. We still had the mine then. And he could swing a pickaxe like nothing. He always knew the best spots to try and find a new vein. He had a little cat that would always go around on his shoulder, and he'd whisper to it sometimes, and it'd whisper back, and then he'd go to a new spot, almost always struck some sort of iron.
Is that what you all deal in here then, iron?
No, we have some gems and jewel, gold, silver. Iron is practical, of course, and great for warding off Thay. But yes, Balson and his cat, fantastic additions to the community. I was sad to see him go.
Did he tell you where he was going?
He did not, just one day we had our seasonal harvest festivities, and then he said enough was enough. It was time for him to move on. He packed his bags and marched east.
Was there
Out of
much to
character.
the east?
Was it what, sorry?
Out of character, when we got here, were we told that there were festivities going on by the satyrs?
No, just if I like to come into town for a piss up.
Got it.
And what was your thing, Quint?
Is there much to the east?
Mountains. Forest and mountains. I presumed he was going to prospect. Try and find a new spot for a mine. Maybe Dees had told him something about it, but he never came back. He was a good man.
Who was?
Balson.
Balson Yurchin. Long may he reign. Well, and Vanessa will get back with the others. Aside from the shop, I don't know where else to go. If anything, maybe we just go find Von Wolf and see if he can point us in any direction of note?
I'm sure there are other shops aside from Sveneman's place. Oh, hello, sir.
Yeah, you see this larger fella is slowly, so as to, not clearly waiting for a bit of a lull in your conversation, so slows his pace. You are new.
I'm sure that you know that we are.
Indeed. I thought it prudent to introduce myself. And he offers a hand to you. Randolph Sharlin.
Pleasure to meet you, Quintinius Verlinix, Quint.
Goodness.
And the quiet one is Whisper.
Sorry, I'm muted.
Greetings. Greetings to you all. If there's anything you need, I take it if you are here, Morgan will have offered you lodgings.
He did, very welcoming.
Good. If not, I was going to offer you a place in my home, but welcome. If you need anything, my house is next to the bridge. Or ask anyone for Randolph. Do you have business here?
We are hopefully just passing through. But while we're here, we would at least like to indulge in the local customs of things.
Hard work, good food, good rest. This is a fruitful place.
And pleasant company, I trust.
Almost always, yes. There are, unfortunately, exceptions, but you'll see them coming a mile off.
Such as?
There are some who do not pull their weight. You will find they are normally the ones who Morgan will expect coin up front. Unreliable workers.
And what about, well, we met a fellow on the outskirts of town when we got in. A very large fellow. Grigori was his name.
Many would mutter and scoff. I have no quarrel with Grigori.
Too many?
Yes.
What types of quarrels?
Fearful quarrels. Many find him distemperate. I myself have found the man to be overly forthright, but I feel that makes things easier. But
Well,
yes, Randolph, I will not
appreciate
intrude
the
upon your...
hospitality, Randolph.
Of course.
What is it that you do, Mr. Sharlin? Your role?
I am Grigori's father. I run a smithy. But yes, about your day, seek me out if you need anything. And with you having a drink, working out what to do next, Grigori on his way to kick in the local cobblers, which we will open with next time, so I can load of cobblers. We will leave things there with you in a mother's welcome, learning all about balls on Urchin, and what your next steps are going to be. So yeah, that's all from us. We will see you all next time.